What's up, Average Dad fans? Welcome back to another video, and it's a long-term review. Yes, something I rarely get time to do on my channel is go back to a device I used for the longest time I've ever used a phone in the past few years, the OPPO N5. This was, and potentially to some degree is still, my favourite foldable phone. I want to give you my 6 months later review, talk about how life is like living with the OPPO N5, and then touch on the elephants in the room, the Vivo X Fold 5, the Honor Magic V5, the Huawei Mate X-T, my current daily driver. Let's go. Now, if you are new to the channel, please help me reach 75,000 subscribers by the end of the year. It would mean a hell of a lot if you could just smash subscribe and ding that notification bell so that every time I post, you're alerted. And we've got the second channel, Average Dad 2, where Anakin recently posted his 6 month later review of the Huawei Mate X-T, which absolutely has inspired me to do this on the N5. Give the second channel a like and subscribe too. That channel is for the community, by the community. So the first thing I do just want to touch on with the OPPO N5 is obviously the design and the build quality and the screen sizes. Because the screen size on the OPPO N5, the outer screen and the inner screen is larger than the Z Fold 7, the Vivo X Fold 5, and the Huawei Mate X-T in terms of outer, but please keep in mind the Mate X-T is a much larger inner screen, even though it's all the same screen. So your inner is your outer and vice versa. But the OPPO N5 offers the largest cover screen of any other foldable phone just now, and as mentioned, the inner screen as well. And in terms of crease, living with the OPPO N5, see how good the fingerprint sensor is, it just every single time, no issues. I'll talk about that in a second. But in terms of the crease or lack of crease, here it is in its worst possible scenario, a key light, a large light coming in through the window, and look at that, the crease is pretty goddamn good. Let me just compare it with the Vivo X Fold 5. Already see on the monitor, this looks far more pronounced than the OPPO N5. And since it's here, let's just do the Z Fold 7 because I know you're going to ask. Yeah, that's also a good screen implementation for sure. But in my opinion, the OPPO N5 offers the best implementation of a screen, or creaseless display, I should say. And then in terms of build quality, the OPPO N5 was the first phone to have a water resistance rating of 9. Yes, IP9 water resistance. You can have this in the pool, high pressure jet wash, drop it in a sink, leave it there for 30 minutes. You have no issues. As you can see from this video, I drowned it in a sink and it worked perfectly. I did say this was the first. Since this was released back in March, we now have the Vivo X Fold 5, the Honor Magic V5, and the world's first IP69 water and dust resistance phone, the Google Pixel 10 Pro. Yes, while Google don't tend to get a lot of things right in terms of build quality, to have an IP69 water and dust resistance rating on a foldable phone like one of these, well done Google. Now you can obviously check all the specifications on GSM Arena or the official OPPO site. This video is not just a specs dump. So if you want to know the screen sizes and any other specs, please check there. 6.6 inch outer, 8.1 inch inner. There, I've told you. But please check GSM Arena for any specs that I might not have mentioned. This is just my experience. And in my experience, to this day, the OPPO N5 is the best and easiest cover screen to type on. And let me tell you, it's not just about consuming content or typing on both screens. But when it comes to the inner screen, multitasking is almost unparalleled, although I would say the Samsung Z Fold 7 is slightly easier to use. Now, Shane Craig, a friend of the channel, has done a really in-depth video on this. I'll link his video in the description, and if I remember, I'll put a card up here. Essentially, multitasking is very similar, but it's smoother to do in the Z Fold 7, and there's a really weird quirk with a top and bottom split on the OPPO compared to the Samsung, which should be fixed in a software update. It's just, yeah, really odd. But then, of course, there's stylus support. The OPPO Find N5 is one of the only large format foldable phones to support stylus on both screens. And unfortunately, in the 6-month period, I have got rid of my OPPO pen, so I can't demonstrate. But here's what the pen looks like from this nice video. And yeah, it's a Bluetooth pen. It pairs, go at your settings, click on nearby devices. Having an 8.12 inch canvas on the inside just means you can draw and create to your heart's content. Again, super clutch to have stylus support on both screens. Not that the vast majority of us use it. Side note, that's probably why the Samsung Z Fold 7 doesn't have S Pen support. And rumours are the Samsung S26 Ultra will not have an S Pen included inside anymore, which is sad for 3% of the population. Now, before I talk about battery, we must discuss the triple camera setup. It is a 50 megapixel main, an 8 megapixel ultra wide. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh, but every time I say it, I literally, every time I do a specs video, review video, any video on the OPPO N5, I always have to just double and triple check that that's correct. An 8 megapixel ultra wide. And then you've got the 50 megapixel telephoto. And listen, while 8 megapixels is not good, I've done my full review. I've done a camera comparison video with the Pixel 9 Pro Fold and the Samsung Galaxy Special Edition, and the OPPO more than held its own, particularly in telephoto. So here's a little reminder of what kind of photos you can get from the triple camera setup of the OPPO N5. Now, right now in 2025, I can't say with a straight face that there is a foldable phone out there with flagship cameras. Nothing in the foldable market comes close to the Pura 80 Ultra or the Vivo X200 Ultra and a few other candy bar phones. But in terms of outputs, photograph and video outputs with the hardware and software combined, I would put the N5 in probably the top 3 of foldable phones, behind the Magic V5 and the Vivo X Fold 5. And as promised, let's touch on battery. The OPPO N5 was at the time the world's thinnest foldable smartphone, and it had a massive 5600 mAh battery, which obviously it still does have. It's just that other phones are kind of overtaking it now with a 6000 milliamp hour in the Vivo and a 6100 milliamp hour in the Chinese 1TB version of the V5. Listen, 5600 milliamp hours combined with the Snapdragon Elite chip has been good for me consistently for 6 months of on and off usage to get around 11-12 hours screen on time. If you are just consuming content, you can push that all the way up to about 15 or 16 hours. If you're gaming or video editing, taking a lot of 4K video, then it's closer to the 10 hours. But like everything, your results may vary because I am blind. So I use the inner screen way more than most people do. So if you use the outer screen, which as we've already discussed is the most usable outer screen on any foldable phone, you'll probably get around 30 to 50% more battery life than I will. And let's not forget, I will always mention this in every video, the OPPO comes with the charger in the box. So now let's just discuss the elephants in the room. The N5 is now 6 months old. The price of the N5 has come down considerably. And actually, shock, through the Average Dad Tech Store, I have just lowered the price in light of this video being uploaded. We were already the cheapest, now we're even cheaper than any other legitimate import store. So you can pick up the OPPO Find N5 global version for under £1,300, £1,299. That makes it £500 cheaper than the Samsung Z Fold 7. And folks, for that base price of the Z Fold 7 only has 256. The OPPO has 512 gigabytes of storage and it has all the other cool stuff I've just mentioned, like stylus support on both screens, like a bigger battery, better cameras, faster charging. There's a lot to love about the N5, especially for the price. But I am a huge fan of the Vivo X Fold 5 and indeed the Honor Magic V5, which is why, in my opinion, for the same price, around £1,300, you can also pick up the global versions of the Honor and the Vivo. And if it were me choosing here right now today, it would be the Vivo or the Honor. The OPPO is not a bad phone. It's got a special place in my heart because it was finally a foldable phone that packed almost everything I wanted from it. Just the Vivo and the Honor have come along with that better battery. So that's my review after 6 months of owning the OPPO N5. A fantastic, groundbreaking foldable phone that, like all technology, starts to fall behind as the months go on. If you've enjoyed this longer term review, please smash subscribe. I'll be back soon with a full review of the Huawei Pura 80 Ultra and some other goodies. I mean, granted, it's the Pixel lineup, which is about exciting as watching paint dry because you've seen all the videos from all your favourite YouTubers, but hey, I'll give them a crack and I will compare the Pixel 10 Pro Fold with all the other best foldable phones in the world. Until next time,